Take a look at this microphone, because in the context of this video, it represents more than just a microphone. Beyond the gear reviews, beyond all the mics that we look at, this channel is fundamentally about recording audio in a less than ideal setup. All the bedroom producers, all the people with untreated rooms, all the people with gear that they wish was just a little bit nicer. That's who I want to produce videos for. And we'll be using this Neat Bumblebee II as an example of a microphone that could fill that gap, satisfy the lowest possible budget that you need to record great audio. So they offer the microphone for this video concept. They're not paying for it. They're not sponsoring any of these videos. I just really think that Neat make great microphones. So this represents the absolute bare minimum of gear: a microphone and a microphone stand. There's no interface, there's no acoustic treatment. So let's see how far this setup can get us. Can we make a professional sounding recording using just this microphone? And how are we going to do it? So this video truly amounts to proof that you don't need gear, which I know is a pretty stereotypical thing for a YouTuber to say. Let's talk about what's going on inside of this USB mic. But first though, go join the Discord. I just announced it 2 videos ago and it's already going really well. I love the community that we're establishing there. If you are an audio nerd looking to nerd out with other audio nerds, I promise you, we have people waiting for you. The link is in the description down below. I'll be there and I will see you there as well. And I am super excited to announce that I have partnered with SoundGym. This is how I honed my engineering skills. SoundGym is an amazing tool, not just a tool that I think you should use, it's a tool that I have used over the last year. Whenever I was in audio school, we had to do SoundGym exercises every week, and honestly, they're kind of what I have to thank for my ability to read frequency responses as well as I can today. SoundGym is an online subscription-based website that actually gives you very entertaining, fun games to train your ear. I actually had like a whole commentary set up for this, but I started filming it and I just started playing the games. So here's some voiceover commentary and footage of me just playing the games. I even had my girlfriend do it. Enjoy.
So Filter Expert helps you analyze EQ curves and what each EQ curve sounds like compared to a flat signal. It was probably the most common exercise that I did back in audio school, and it's probably the biggest reason why I understand frequency response curves today.
Ah! Super peaky and the high end. Bah. Nah. Ha! Super peasy lemon easy.
So here I'm recognizing where the boosted frequencies are, and you see in that darkened range, that's where I have like a little bit of a margin of error. You have to do this in like half a second or you're probably not going to finish the levels. So you really have to recognize those frequencies super quick.
Yeah!
Can I do it?
Yeah, go for it.
You already did it.
Do it and I can do it again.
Chris is playing a game where you have to recognize where the signal is coming in the stereo image.
Really insightful commentary.
I was about to say that it's easy. I feel like I did pretty good for a while, for a little bit. That's fun.
That was fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm sorry if that ad read was just a little bit long. I really love SoundGym, and I really think you'll love it too. It's an amazing tool for using your ear, and I just wanted to show you the games. So if SoundGym is of interest to you, go ahead and click that link down below. It really helps the channel out if you use that specific link. And also, if you'd like to get the Pro membership, which gives you access to all the different games and workouts, you can get a 20% discount with the link down below. Let's get back to the video.
So how do USB microphones work? Well, in its its simplest form, a USB microphone is both a combination of a microphone, usually a condenser microphone, and an audio interface. If you'd like to learn more about the anatomy of the actual condenser side of this microphone, or learn more about microphone anatomy in general, here is a video for that. But let's focus primarily on how this USB microphone takes an analog signal and converts it into a digital signal, all within the confines of this microphone. Phantom power, which is what powers the condenser part of this microphone, is actually typically delivered in the audio interface, which has a separate control specifically for powering said microphone. But with the USB microphone, it actually takes a small charge from the USB cable and charges it in that manner, so no phantom power required technically. Another key point to keep in mind here is with USB microphones, the microphone itself is choosing the audio quality that you will be receiving. It's not really true that a USB microphone is inherently going to be lower quality, although there are some downsides that you might experience with a USB microphone. But depending on the USB microphone you get, they're going to be able to record at different bit depths and different sample rates. These two measurements are kind of the framework for how high of a resolution digital audio signal you have. So let's back up for a little bit here. All audio is captured in what we call an analog signal, which is a physical, mechanical movement of waves, sound waves. This moves the diaphragm inside of this little grill here, and when the USB microphone is on, produces an audio signal and a charge by moving a diaphragm against a backplate, producing what we call a capacitance. So in a typical setup, this physical reproduction of sound, which is really small and a really small charge, is sent to the audio interface, which is then converted into a digital signal. This signal is something your computer can read and then spit back out to your speakers as another analog signal, another physical manifestation of sound waves. But in a USB microphone, all of that's happening in the mic before it leaves the USB cable and then goes as a digital signal already produced by the microphone into the computer itself. So as said before, there's kind of two different measurements for how you can think of digital audio quality: bit rate and also sample rate. You can sort of think of this as a y-axis and an x-axis. Y-axis being the bit rate and x-axis being the sample rate. Bit rate essentially refers to the amount of gain you have before your audio signal starts to distort. The more bits you have, or the more binary digits you have, that's what that stands for, the more available headroom you have before you start to distort. So the more gain and power you can get from your original audio signal. Think about it like this. You ever heard of 8-bit music? The music that you hear in like old Mario games or on old Nintendos? Well, that's a pretty easy signal to process, but at the expense of audio distortion. That's why 8-bit music sounds the way it does, because it distorts very easily. 16-bit is where we start to get something that's a little bit more usable. 16-bit is typically the file format that you're listening to on something like a Spotify or an Apple Music. It's consumer level dynamic range. 24-bit is the industry standard for recording music. If you're working in audio, I generally recommend you work in 24-bit. So sample rate refers to the frequency at which we sample the original audio signal, the resolution of that analog waveform. It's kind of like how many pixels are we using to make up that actual smooth analog signal. 44.1 kilohertz is the bare minimum. 48 kilohertz is the standard, and some people are even recording at 96 kilohertz. That's actually what this USB microphone is capable of. It can also do 24-bit. Things can get pretty hairy pretty quick. The manner in which we choose the sample rates in order to record our audio and convert it into a digital signal is done using what we call the Nyquist theorem. This theory states that in order to properly sample an analog signal in a way that's truly comprehensible to the human ear, we need to sample it at twice the frequency. Like I said, gets hairy quick. But an easy way to think about this is humans sort of hear between 20 hertz and 20,000 hertz. 44.1 kilohertz is a little bit above 20,000 hertz, or twice the frequency of human hearing. Weird. I know it completely doesn't make sense, but in order to really get into sampling, we need a whole nother video. Whew. A bet you didn't think you'd hear all that information in a USB microphone video. So the Bumblebee has us covered with a 24-bit bitrate, and it can record all the way up to 96 kilohertz. We're just going to use 48 kilohertz today because if I went any higher than that, my poor old MacBook would not be able to handle it. I'll be using the standard techniques I use on any other condenser microphone in order to record guitar. If you want to hear my actual techniques for recording guitar, you can check it out here. And we'll be using the standard techniques I use for recording vocals, which you can check out here.
So today we're joined by Ethan Toga, our resident vocal expert. You can follow him on Instagram here. He also has a song coming out July 1st called More or Less. Here's what it sounds like.
Oh, my teachers always told me keep your eyes on your own page, but the prowess of my peers, it keeps on pulling at my gaze. Oh, it's hard to feel content with so much envy in my chest. Am I only being bitter when I quantify my success?
So rather than going through a walkthrough, I think that would make the video just a little bit too long. I'm going to show you all the different plugins and how they sound on the actual video performance itself. So you can see the vocal chain that we're using during the actual comparison of a standard non-process signal and the process signal. You'll see what I mean. Enjoy!
Drown again, but I've never heard you ask for time. You stumble in, you couldn't find your house key through the wine. But I'm not startled anymore. You said go on without me, my friend. You swear you'll get here in the end. You told me not to worry, you'd make your way through lamplit streets and knock on my front door. And anyway the wind blows, you find yourself at home among the faces that you know. And you set it down, afraid to pass it on to someone else. You take the time you need to keep from cracking in your shell. But you're not broken anymore in the hills outside of Pittsburgh where you fell. You swear you'll get here just as well. You told me not to worry, you'd make your way through lamplit streets to knock on my front door. And anyway the wind blows, you find yourself at home among the faces that you know. Now you sink into the river. Now you find you can't deliver no more. have to worry. I'll make my way through lamplit streets and knock on your front door. And any way the wind blows, you find yourself at home among the faces that you know.
Okay guys, I hope this has been proof that you really don't need that much to get started. This microphone is $100. That's not $100 plus an audio interface, cables, anything like that. It is $100 and then you can record audio and you can do it in a really high quality fashion, and that's what this channel is all about. Lowering the barrier of entry in order to make really awesome music. I hope you enjoyed. You can follow me on Instagram at RealAudioHaze. If you'd like to work on a project with me, you can email me at realaudiohaze@gmail.com. And with that, goodbye.